Hi, good morning. Ken here. Sorry about all the noise. Just showing you, even here in Thailand, I still like to rock out a little bit and enjoy some good old US music. One of my favorite videos here, Led Zepplin tribute with Ann and Nancy Wilson. And Nancy, her voice is incredible. Anyway, let me pause here and I'll turn this down a moment. All right, a little quieter there now. Anyway, I can't believe that Nancy, she's still got a set of lungs on her. It's incredible. I've always been one of my favorite singers. And what an amazing job she's done here on this with the tribute to Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven. Anyway, on another subject. So I've been out in the garden this morning picking some veggies as usual. And so I'm about to cook up a Thai-style pot of chili beans. So instead of using beef for the regular chili con carne, I'm going to use some pork. Beef is really hard to come by here, especially ground beef, at least in the area where I live. You know, if you're in the cities, you have access to a lot more variety, but out here in the sticks where I'm at, it's pretty limited. But the pork is great here, so I'm going to make up a pot of chili with some pork and use everything that I can from the garden in with it, and I'll give you just a quick demo of what I'm doing. Alright, so I started off with the red kidney beans here. I soaked them for about 2 hours in water, rinsed them really good, and then put them in my pot of water here. And so far I've already added a little bit. So what I've got in here so far is some oregano, a little bit of cinnamon, cumin seed, paprika, and fresh ground black pepper. And I use grape pepper here next door to us in Cambodia. They have this Kampot pepper that's just amazing. Anyway, so that's what I've got going on there. And I've already diced up my pork. And I use a little bit of a fatty pork, maybe not the healthiest, but it really, you know, makes it nice and crispy and a nice flavor when I first start off here, because I am about to step into the pan here with some oil in it, and I'm going to brown the pork and put in, this is fresh garlic, put in the fresh garlic, and somewhere under there it is. I've got chilies from the garden here, and the garlic from the garden. Fresh basil will go into it. I've got mushrooms in the line up here, and I got some tomatoes, and right now I'm about to dice up some onions. So I'm going to brown the onions, the pork, the chilies, these are little Thai chilies, and the fresh garlic will all get browned in the pan first, and once that's all browned and nice, that'll add into the pot. And the last thing I always add in will be the mushrooms and the tomatoes. So I'm going to chop up these onions and start browning. Alright, so I've got the garlic, I've got the onion, and I've got the chilies in here right now in the oil just to brown just a little bit. Just sears them. And I'll give these just a couple more minutes, and then I'll put in the pork. I'll just add that the beans here, I brought this to a boil with all the seasonings in it. Now I've just turned it down to a low simmer, so this is going to cook really slow right now. And I'll keep it that way for a couple of hours. I'll add the other ingredients and then just cover it up and put it on low simmer. So I've stirred the pork into this now. I'll let this cook up for a little bit till I brown the pork really nice. Get it just a little bit crispy on the outside using a high heat. Okay, so now I've got the pork just lightly brown. Everything's kind of cooked up really nice, I guess you would call it blanched by some terms. I'm not a real chef, so I'm not on top of all these technical terms. I just know I love to cook and I like good food. So anyway, so I'm about to take this. I'm going to just mix it in with the pot of chili beans and spices here. Okay, so I stirred in the chilies and the garlic, the onion and the browned pork. And next up, come over here, I'm going to add in the basil and the mushrooms, and then I'll dice up the tomatoes and put those in last. Just add my own comment here. With the basil, most recipes for chili just called for a dried basil leaf, and just not that much of it. I prefer this nice, fresh, aromatic basil right out of the garden. I think it's a nice accent to the flavors here in the chili. So anyway, that's my plan, and I'm sticking to it. And the same kind of goes for mushrooms. Not a lot of people put mushrooms in chili. But here again, I'm not making this for other people. I'm making it for me and my family. And this is something that we all really like and enjoy. Now, another ingredient that's going to be missing here is, if I was making this back home in the States, I'd be putting some tomato paste in with it and some canned tomatoes. Instead, I'm using fresh tomatoes, which is great. But I haven't been able to locate the tomato paste here in my local area. Again, that's something I have to go to the bigger cities, big supermarkets to get. And I do that as little as possible. I like staying out here. Okay, here we go. Last thing in is the fresh tomato. Put that in there. Give it a good stir. You know, I'm going to stir this up nice. We got the heat turned down on the simmer. I'm going to cover the pot, and I'm going to leave it there for about an hour and a half. All right, it's been about a half hour here. Just going to take a look here. Oh, that looks good. This smell is incredible. You know, what really makes this chili pop is the cumin. The cumin seed just has an incredible aroma to it, and of course that's kind of the distinctive flavor of chili, I guess you would say. I mean, obviously a mixture, but it's the one primary ingredient that you really couldn't do without. So I was quite happy when I found some here. All right. Just let that keep going. It's got at least an hour to go, maybe an hour and a half. Let's just see. I like to cook it really slow. One thing about cooking it slow, it makes that pork that's in there really nice and tender. It'll just kind of crumble when you go to eat it. Okay, back at it later. All right, so we're about an hour and a half into this. Just sitting here slow cooking on the stove. Beans are getting nice and soft, and this just smells incredible. I'm going to go ahead and give it about another 30 minutes, just for everything to kind of meld and marinate together really nice. But it really looks good. I sampled a piece of that pork a moment ago, and oh, it just tender, it just kind of melts in your mouth. Okay, so here we go, lunchtime. Topped it off just a little bit of fresh diced onion and a little bit of cilantro there mixed in. The only thing I'm missing here today for this is some cornbread, and that's another one I've got to figure out here in Thailand. I have yet to find cornmeal. I found corn powder, but I'm still looking for the cornmeal. Okay, well, thank you for dropping in and watching the video here today. This has been a fun one to work on, better one to eat. I do enjoy cooking, and although I make no claim to be a professional chef by any means, it's just a pleasurable process. And it's nice to make use of what I have out in the garden. I mean, that's why I'm growing it out there, so that we have fresh goodies here to put into our meals and know that we're eating as healthy as we can and enjoying what we have. So anyway, again, thank you so much. If you've enjoyed the video here, make sure to click on the like button. You're more than welcome to share this. And if you're watching this on my YouTube channel, why don't you click on the subscribe? That way you'll get notifications as I release some other videos here. I'm going to try to get my wife to step in and make a few more of them. She's done these in the past. She's a little bit camera shy, but she does all right. I think the more I get her used to doing them, I think the more she's going to enjoy. And she's a much better cook than I am as well, and especially with the Thai food here. Anyway, until next time, everybody have a wonderful day.